Please subscribe to this channel and support us so we can post new sci-fi stories every day. Your support keeps us going. The broadcast crackled across 10,000 worlds, its signal piercing through the void to reach every corner of the galaxy. On the sterile platform of the Galactic Council's primary transmission hub, a lone figure knelt in chains. Staff Sergeant Marcus Chen, United States Army Special Forces, Green Beret, raised his bloodied head as the alien overlord approached with ceremonial rope. "Behold, citizens of the galaxy," the council leader's voice boomed through universal translators. "The last pathetic remnant of the extinct human race. Watch as we extinguish this final spark of their worthless existence." The rope went around Chen's neck as he stared defiantly into the camera. His final words echoed across space. "If one falls, all rise." The broadcast cut to black. 5 minutes later, every planet the Galactic Council owned began to burn. In hidden bunkers carved deep into Earth's crust, in asteroid mining stations disguised as derelict hulks, in colonial settlements thought long abandoned, humans watched the execution in silence. The rage that followed was not the hot fury of the moment. Cliff was the cold, calculated wrath of a species that had spent decades preparing for this exact scenario. Veterans who had fought in humanity's last desperate wars before going underground exchanged knowing glances. Children of resistance fighters clenched their fists as they witnessed their hero's death. "Ghost Protocol is now active," announced the artificial intelligence that had coordinated humanity's hidden survival for 20 years. Across the galaxy, dormant systems awakened. Sleeper agents embedded in alien societies received their final orders. Weapons caches hidden in the deepest caves and the coldest reaches of space hummed to life. The message was simple. Chen is fallen. All rise. On the Council's flagship, the overlords celebrated their propaganda victory, raising crystalline goblets filled with synthetic wine. "The humans are truly finished now," laughed Supreme Commander Vextak. "Their last soldier dies in shame, broadcast to every world. No species will dare oppose us after witnessing such weakness." His advisors nodded approvingly, already drafting new conquest plans for previously neutral systems. They had no idea that their execution of Marcus Chen had just signed the death warrant for their entire civilization. The countdown began immediately. Human AI systems, hidden for decades in quantum networks, threaded through subspace, synchronized their clocks. Ancient orbital defense platforms, thought destroyed in humanity's last stand, powered up from standby mode. In the asteroid fields of a dozen systems, what appeared to be mining equipment shed its disguises to reveal the black holes of human warships. Ghost Admiral Sarah Voss, presumed dead for 15 years, stood on the bridge of humanity's most advanced dreadnought and gave the order that would reshape the galaxy. "All units, weapons free. Remember Chen." The first strike came exactly 5 minutes after the broadcast ended. The Galactic Council's transmission hub, a massive orbital station that controlled communications for 3 sectors, simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, the next it was expanding plasma and debris. The alien technicians didn't even have time to register the incoming railgun slugs before they became part of the cosmic dust. Supreme Commander Vextak's celebration was interrupted by alarms screaming across his flagship as secondary explosions lit up space around them. What followed was not a battle, it was systematic extermination. Human stealth ships, their hulls coated in metamaterials that bent sensor waves around them like ghosts, emerged from hiding positions they had maintained for decades. Veterans who had trained their entire lives for this moment donned battle armor that their enemies had never seen before and would never understand. In colonial settlements, apparent civilians shed their disguises and revealed themselves as special operations soldiers who had been living deep cover for 20 years. Colonel James Chen, Marcus's older brother, led the first ground assault on the Council's primary military base. His Marines dropped from orbit in stealth pods, their armor painted with their fallen comrade's name. "This one's for Marcus," James whispered as his battalion swept through alien defensive positions like a hurricane of controlled violence. The enemy had prepared for human tactics from 20 years ago. They had no answer for the innovations born from 2 decades of hidden warfare development. The aliens' first response was disbelief. "This is impossible," screamed the Council's intelligence chief as reports flooded in from across their territory. "The humans are extinct. We destroyed their fleets, conquered their worlds, executed their leaders." But the evidence was undeniable, as fortress worlds that had stood unconquered for centuries began falling like dominoes. Human forces struck with precision that suggested perfect intelligence, hitting command centers, weapons depots, and communication hubs simultaneously across multiple star systems. On the mining colony of Kepler-4, for to be 60-year-old Sarah Chun, Marcus's daughter, watched her father's execution replay on her tablet, before calmly reaching under her bed and pulling out a rifle that had been waiting there for 6 years. Her resistance cell, composed entirely of teenagers who had been trained since childhood for this moment, emerged from hiding and began systematically eliminating the alien occupation forces. "Dad always said that if they took him, we'd make them pay," she told her best friend as they rappelled down the side of the colonial governor's tower. Time to collect that debt. The second wave of human attacks focused on the Council's industrial worlds. Orbital bombardment platforms that had been disguised as deep space monitoring stations revealed their true nature, raining kinetic projectiles down on manufacturing centers and military academies. Each strike was precisely calculated to maximize both material damage and psychological impact. The aliens had built their empire on the assumption that they were dealing with primitive humans using inferior technology. They discovered too late that human military engineering had advanced far beyond their intelligence estimates. The Council's calls for assistance met with silence from their allies. Neighboring species, having witnessed the methodical destruction of seemingly impregnable Council positions, suddenly found urgent reasons to remain neutral. The Zephyrian Collective, longtime allies of the Council, issued a formal statement. The Zephyrian people have always respected humanity's right to defend itself. Even mercenary fleets refused contracts, spreading word through spacer bars that humans paid their debts in full and with interest. Veterans who had fought in Earth's final battles emerged from retirement to join the assault. Colonel Patricia Ian Rodriguez, last survivor of the Battle of Luna City, led a strike force against the Council's primary weapons facility. Her soldiers, many of them grandparents, who had spent 20 years preparing for this day, moved through the alien complex like death itself. They carried Marcus Chen's photograph in their helmet displays and his words in their hearts. "If one falls, all rise." The alien propaganda machine, so effective at maintaining control over dozens of species, turned against its creators as human psychological warfare specialists hijacked their networks. Instead of broadcasts showing human defeat, the galaxy watched endless loops of Council positions being overrun, alien flags being torn down, and human marines raising the stars and stripes over conquered cities. The message was clear to every species watching. Humanity was not extinct, and their patience had run out. 3 hours after the execution, the Council's core worlds began evacuating. Civilian transports fled in panic as human fleets emerged from hyperspace, their weapons charged and targeting solutions locked. The aliens had started this war by making Marcus Chen's death into entertainment. Humanity finished it by turning their empire's destruction into a galaxy-wide lesson about the price of crossing the human race. The ancient orbital defense cannon, known as humanity's hammer, hidden in the Oort cloud for 25 years, fired its first shot at 1800 hours Galactic Standard Time. The massive kinetic projectile, accelerated to a significant percentage of light speed, struck the Council's fortress world of Dominus Prime and cracked the planet's crust. It fired again 60 seconds later at their Naval Academy world, then their administrative center, 1 shot per minute, each one ending a world that had stood for centuries. Sarah Chen's voice cut across every communication channel in the galaxy as human hackers seized control of the broadcast networks. "My father, Staff Sergeant Marcus Chen, died believing in something greater than himself," she said, looking directly into the camera while alien cities burned behind her. "He died believing that no matter how far we're scattered, no matter how deep we hide, we remain one people. He killed him to show the galaxy that humans were weak and broken." She paused, her young face hardening with resolve that echoed generations of human warriors. "Instead, he showed them that we keep our promises. Dad said, if one falls, all rise. We rose. We burned your worlds. We shattered your fleets. We freed your slaves and scattered your armies to the solar winds." The Galactic Council's 1,000-year empire collapsed in 16 hours. Their overlords died in the ruins of their palaces, torn apart by the very species they had oppressed for decades. The survivors fled to the galaxy's edge, carrying word of humanity's return to any who would listen. But by then, the human fleets had already faded back into the dark spaces between stars, vanishing as quickly as they had appeared. In the silence that followed, a final message echoed across every inhabited world, broadcast from sources the authorities could never trace. "This is humanity. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We paid the price for Marcus Chen in full. Touch one of us again, and we will burn your universe. The transmission ended, leaving behind only the smoldering remains of an empire and the knowledge that somewhere in the darkness, Earth's children were watching and waiting. The galaxy would never forget the name Marcus Chen, or the lesson his death had taught them all. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to this channel and support us so we can post new videos every day. Your support means the world.